Check 1 2 1. So live A, live B. Are you live? Yeah, so I'm live.
We are Timbersports.
United by passion for the sport
and competition.
We chop down racism
and say yes to tolerance.
Yes to tolerance.
Say ja till tolerans.
Yes to tolerance.
Yes to tolerance.
是的，理解宽容。
Powiedz tak tolerancji.
Ja zu Toleranz.
We are Timbersports.
Hello everybody and welcome to Milano Congressi in Bella Italia for the STIHL Timbersports Rookie World Championship 2024, where 12 of the world's finest athletes will be competing for the crown. And one of the finest commentators in the world is standing right next to me, Mr. Troy Mannering. We're in for a big show today, right?
Absolutely. We have, as you said, 12 of the best rookie athletes from around the world, 4 coming over from overseas, 2 North American, Australia, and New Zealand. These guys are the creme de la creme, if I may use Italian. Sorry, bad joke. I mean, these guys are the best of the best. They're absolutely going to rock it out there. It's going to be some great action on stage today. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the future of Timbersports is going to do on the stage behind us today.
And of course, we want to find out how these 12 athletes made it to Milano, and that's what we're going to show you right now.
And the on-field announcer, welcome to Milano, benvenuti a Milano. You can see City Life here. We are amongst the Mico Convention Center and I'm so excited. Sono molto emozionato, non sono l'unico a essere emozionato. E allora facciamoci sentire. Ciao Milano! Ciao Milano! Hey, hey, hey! Hey, hey! Che emozione, what an emotion, what an adrenalinic day it's gonna be. We have 2 competition starting now. Iniziamo subito oggi con la STIHL Rookie World Cup and World Championship 2024-2024 with the 12th best of the world competing here for a big showdown. E quindi sarà uno showdown numero 1 prima di arrivare questa sera alla World Trophy. Quindi siamo carichi? Siete carichi Milano? All right. Benissimo. And so andiamo a presentare qui i nostri giudici di gara. We are going to present the Global Sports Director from Great Britain. Hello to Mr. Spike Milton. E ancora, Global Sports Director, the second from the USA, dagli Stati Uniti, Nathan Waterfield. Hello, Mr. Waterfield. I giudici di gara, the judges from Great Britain, Andrew Hall. Hello, Mr. Andrew Hall. E ancora, giudice di gara, judge from Romania, Radu Casacu. Benvenuto, welcome. E andiamo a vedere, behind the scenes, dietro le quinte, Competition Control Center, video judge Jules Jansen and Alberto Corbetta. Benvenuti, eccoli qui. Welcome. All right, bene, bene, bene. Allora, andiamo avanti da scaletta. Following up, ladies and gentlemen, dear audience, we are having the competitors just joining us on stage. Allora facciamoci sentire perché è il momento di presentare i rookie in gara questo pomeriggio. From Australia, dall'Australia, Matt Coffey. E un saluto ancora. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, from Belgium, dal Belgio, Camille van der Remdong. All right, eccolo. Very warm welcome. And the next one to come, ecco il prossimo, attenzione, dal Canada, from Canada, Matthew Barr. Ok. Eccolo qui, e non è finita. We are going on. The next one. This is Czech Republic, República Checa. Ivan Babuška. All right. E qui l'adrenalina sale, sale, sale ogni momento che passa, ogni attimo che passa. Now, ladies and gentlemen, signore e signori, dalla Danimarca, from Denmark, Ebsen Pedersen. All right, eccolo. Ok, e allora è il momento della rookie della Gran Bretagna. From Great Britain, this is Jack Morris. Eccolo qui, rookie britannico che sale sul palco, saluta i giudici e gli altri. Ne abbiamo 12, siamo al numero 7. This is the 7th athlete we are welcoming for Germany, aus Deutschland, Germania, Team Anthofer. E adesso andiamo lontano perché è il momento dell'atleta della Nuova Zelanda, from New Zealand, Cleveland Cherry. Hello and welcome in Milano. E anche qui il solito cerimoniale, saluto ai giudici, saluto agli altri corridori per avere poi uno accanto all'altro i campionissimi, giovanissimi Next Generation qui prima di partire per questa grande challenge. And coming up next, per la Polonia, for Poland, Mikołaj Growal. sì, uno dopo l'altro, questi sono i momenti antecedenti alla grande gara, alla grande sfida, è il momento della presentazione dei rookie. Allora adesso vediamo che l'atleta polacco ha preso posizione, allora è il momento della Svizzera. Switzerland. This is Jean Schweiz, Hop die Schweiz. Eccolo qui l'elvetico. Grande tensione, attimi di suspense, attimi di presentazione, attimi di gioia, attimi che raccolgono in nuce tutto quanto che andrà ad accadere. Ma noi non ci fermiamo perché abbiamo l'atleta numero 11. Eccolo qui dagli Stati Uniti, from the USA, Kevin Promer. All right. Ecco qui anche i saluti di rito. Yeah. Vi sento caldi, attenzione. It's not over, this is not the end. We are missing just one. E voi sapete, vi state scaldando, vi voglio scatenati, vi voglio ultra scatenati. Allora, attenzione, perché per l'Italia abbiamo Nicola tre carichi, Nicola Italy. Ecco, salutiamola ancora, facciamoci sentire. And these, ladies and gentlemen, are the rookies challenging one another. And of course, we're gonna following them in the next hour and a half here. Ultima carrellata ancora sugli atleti. Once again, one big view over the rookies. Facciamoci sentire and back to the studio. Ridò la linea allo studio.
Well, thank you very much, Carl. It looks like Milano is already going wild, right?
They're ready for it.
And these athletes, they look like they're ready for the competition. But of course, we want to know, how did they make it to Milano? And that's what we're going to show you right now. I keep hearing.
All right, so as you see, we have 12 athletes going to be on stage today. You met them all already. And just briefly, you saw how we got 4 seeded rookie champions from across the waters, and the rest came in through other forms.
That's the 12 athletes. And of course, we have 3 rounds and 5 disciplines. And how this all works out, well, we've got a clip for that as well. How about that?
Format time.
STIHL Timbersports Rookie International Championship competition. The International Rookie Championships are held in a 3-round elimination format. In the first round, all rookies compete in 2 disciplines, the underhand chop and the stock saw. The times achieved will be converted into points upon completion of each discipline. In round 1, a single point difference applies in each event. Thus, the fastest athlete receives points equal to the number of athletes in the competition, and the slowest only 1 point. Any rule infraction will result in a disqualification, and the athlete will receive 0 points for that discipline. At the end of the first round, the athletes with the lowest scores are eliminated. Only 8 athletes make it to the second round. In the second round, the remaining athletes compete in the standing block chop and the single buck for increased points. With 2 points difference between placings, the fastest athlete now receives 16 points and the slowest receives 2. The 2 athletes with the lowest total points are eliminated at the end of round 2. Only the top 6 reach the third round. In the third round, anything is still possible on the springboard, as an increased score of 3 points between positions applies in this final round. The fastest athlete can score 18 points in the springboard. The slowest receives 3 points. The athlete who achieves the highest total score across all 3 rounds is the new champion.
And of course, the first discipline is the underhand chop, and we want to take a closer look at the discipline and the axe that our athletes are going to be using.
The axes used in timber sports definitely can't be bought at your local hardware store. Made from special steel, the blade is hand sanded with an angle of 13 to 16 degrees. It's custom built and carefully adjusted for each competition. The weight is around 3 kilos and it's about 80 centimeters long. The blade is so sharp that you could shave with it. Underhand chop. In the past, the underhand chop technique was used to split logs. Standing on a horizontally anchored block, the athletes use an axe to cut through a 30-centimeter log. The block has to be worked from both sides.
And that means we are ready to take a closer look at the starting list. In Heat 1, we're going to see Matthew Budd take on Tim Anthofer.
Yeah, Matt Budd won the 2023 Rookie Championship for Canada, so that's why he qualified through those 4 overseas athletes. Tim Anthofer is an interesting character, though. He's the winner of the Italian Rookie Cup 23, the Czech Rookie Cup 23. He got 4th place at the National Rookie Championships for Germany in 2023. I mean, he is ready to go. He is fit. He is looking very good. Matthew Budd, he's going to have his work cut out for him going up against Tim Anthofer, but I will say that they've got different wood that they're using quite frequently over in Canada, so that's something that a lot of the international athletes have to deal with when they arrive here, slightly harder wood. So let's see how these two guys go up against each other, Matt Budd and Tim Anthofer. Remember, these guys have to cut through that block from both sides, so you'll see them get 7-8 hits on that first side and switch over to the other side and try and get through as quickly as possible. Here we go.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Nice pre-start by Tim Anthofer, and Matthew Budd getting in there with some good pace right away. He's very quick. The axe got a little bit sticky, maybe too much power on that hit, and he switched it over to the second side quickly.
Wow.
Matt Budd looking good, and this is a very good start for the Canadian. Tim Anthofer on his second side, struggling a little bit with the sticky axe, and Matt Budd is through, and he's got a personal best of 20:43. That is an unbelievable increase, or a decrease on his time. His original personal best was 40 seconds. He murdered that personal best by 19-20 seconds. Unbelievable. Tim Anthofer with a 27:23 on that one. Matt Budd looking fantastic right out of the gate.
That's not a bad time at all.
No, that's a fantastic time. 20:03 after adjustment. We just got the official check mark here, so that's a really nice time by Matthew Budd. Great job. And our Canadian fan club that's just down below our location here, absolutely turning on the spit there as they are screaming and yelling for him through that heat.
That's a great start into the competition, personal bests. Milano is ready, and obviously our athletes are too.
And we've got some good wood today. We've been watching the trainings earlier on, the time trials. The wood's been cutting really well, so it's cured beautifully by Bart Janssen and his crew to get this ready for this competition. And I think this could be a very good competition here as we see the final drivers from Tim Anthofer, as Matthew Budd was already through his block. But what a beautiful first set of cuts by Matthew Budd on that first side, and he just popped over. I don't think there was any hesitation for him at all.
Oh, and look at the beautiful scenery. That's absolutely fantastic. And we await the second heat, and of course that's going to be a big one because Nicola Tekariki, I hope I pronounced this correctly, the local hero is going to be on stage, and he's taking on Jack Morris.
Yeah, Jack Morris is an interesting character. I like this kid. He's got a lot of skill. He's struggled a little bit with injuries the last couple of seasons. Nothing major, you know, mostly it's just elbow, wrist, those kinds of things. But I talked to him earlier, he says he's feeling good, he's feeling healthy, he's feeling fit. So this should be a really good battle. Tail of the tape actually has a slight advantage going to Jack Morris, who holds the rookie national record for Great Britain.
Yeah, but we've seen the support of the Italian fans, and that has been amazing, even though the competition hasn't even started yet. So I would say anything and everything is possible in this heat number 2.
Okay, gentlemen, athletes ready. Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
All right away. Tregariki got a little bit of a sticky axe, and Jack Morris is getting in there with speed. He's got pace. He's going to be over to the other side fairly quickly, I believe. Tregariki getting stuck in there a couple of times. Morris on the second side of his block already getting through. He's got a wide open angle on that one. Tregariki now about 7-8 drivers behind Morris on that second side as Jack Morris' advantage comes into play here. A few more drivers for him, and he is through at 25.64. That is a nice time for Jack Morris, not his personal best. 2 seconds off pace there. And Tregariki with a 32.16. Both of those times are unofficial right now until our judge gives a thumbs up. But everything looks good to go for both of these guys at this point. Jack Morris, if his time stands, will have the second fastest time of the day so far.
I don't think that Nicola is going to be too happy about this, to be honest.
No, he's definitely been faster by 7 seconds in the past. Uh-oh. And there's a lot of looking at this. Oh, it looks like he might have cut into the footholds, which could be a devastating hit for Tregariki because he's going to be disqualified if that is the case. And that would be really a terrible start for the young man from Italy.
Of course, it means he would only be disqualified in the underhand chop, not receiving points in this discipline.
However, this cut is good.
Oh, there we have it.
So that was definitely a cut foothold. So this is one of those things that the rule book says this is also a safety measure for these athletes on stage. Even though they are wearing chainmail socks under their very soft shoes, they're not allowed to cut into that foothold where they stand. So if they do, that means it's a disqualification. Look at the start here. Tregariki got stuck, and Jack Morris had 2 hits in already by the time Tregariki got his axe out. And there is that point where you see that cut foothold, and that was unfortunate for the Italian. You know, there's a lot of pressure on the local guys to perform here, and it really makes it difficult for them. And you gotta give them respect out there. And the last couple of drivers here from Jack Morris to get through that block. You can see those shoes are very soft, and if that axe hit those shoes without those chainmail socks, we got a half a foot there instead of 1.
And talking about the pressure, we've seen it happen so many times. It's great to have the audience behind you, but of course, it's an extra pressure. And this sport is so brutal. You know, one mistake and things start to get really, really difficult. We're in heat number 3 with Gavin Brombach against Nikolai Grönwald. That's going to be an interesting one, if you ask me. If you look at the personal bests, they're very, very close together.
Gavin got 7th place last year in Rotterdam at the Rookie World Championships 2023. He's the national rookie champion. Nikolai Grönwald, well, I mean, his family is basically living, breathing, eating, and sleeping timber sports. His younger brother is competing in the pro level now. His father competes, and the whole family are insanely good athletes.
Yeah, and last year his brother won the Rookie World Championship in Rotterdam.
3, 2, 1, go!
So Nikolai looking to do the same thing for himself this year as his brother did last year. Gavin Brumbaugh looking very good on the first side of his block. A little bit of a sticky axe there, although I think he should be switching over fairly quickly. Nikolai already onto the other side. And look at the pace at which he's hitting right now. That is quick for Nikolai Grönwald. Could we have a really good time here for the young man from Poland? It looks like it's going to be good. Oh, 22.57. Of course, that's unofficial, and I think in this case it's going to be higher. Yep, it went up to 23.46. Brumbaugh, excuse me, with a 26.10. Now again, these times are unofficial right off the hop. We have to wait for the last camera look at those and to make sure our competition control center and Jules Janssen and the guys down there readjust to make sure we have a really accurate time.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
Both cuts are good. A fantastic time by Nikolai Grönwald. That puts him in 2nd place, just ahead of Jack Morris in the underhand chop. And Gavin Brumbaugh with a 25.67 sits in 4th place, just behind Jack Morris. So it's a nice little mix that's going on here, and we're seeing some really, really nice talent on stage right now for these rookies. Let's look at this again. Great pre-anticipation there from Gavin. I mean, that was just fantastic timing on his part. Started to lift the axe. As long as the axe doesn't strike the block by the time the go signal goes, they can stand up there with the axe in the air as long as they want. Doesn't make any sense, but they can.
It they want, yes, why not?
And you can see here the accuracy of Nikolai Grunwald's drivers. He practices this a lot. How smooth are those sidewalls, yeah? It's absolutely beautiful. And that's the big thing. Accurate is fast, because if you can get in clean on those previous cut points, then you're not cutting new wood every time.
And that, of course, is what our next two athletes are going to be trying to do. We've got Sean Oesch from Switzerland taking on Esben Pedersen from Denmark. 21.37 the personal best from Sean and 22.12 from Esben. So that, again, could be a very close encounter. And you can see the full focus, both of them breathing in. It is a very special situation. You don't have these competitions like the World Championship every day. And oh, wow, let's go.
Okay, gentlemen.
Sean Oesch, third place Rookie Academy this year. Both of these guys will have to jump up to the pros or the intermediate after this season. So Esben Pedersen really sticky on that first driver. Sean Oesch as well, so it looks like these guys are tied up in some even heat, and now Sean Oesch is starting to get the pace going as he slips over to the other side, well ahead of Esben Pedersen, about 4 or 5 drivers, I would say. Esben Pedersen on the second side of his block. This may be a good time for Sean Oesch, is looking really good. Oh, a massively sticky block. Esben steps down, and Sean Oesch steps down, excuse me. Esben Pedersen was going to get there, and Sean Oesch has managed to do it. It looked like Esben Pedersen was actually going to be faster. He got a very sticky axe, but at the same time, Sean Oesch stepped down off his block, and if you step down, you're not allowed to swing that axe, so he's got to be back up and secure before he starts to swing again. That was an interesting heat. Both pretty good times, though. Puts him right in the middle of the mix here. Sean Oesch in third place, Esben Pedersen in 6th place at the moment.
And the faces say it all.
Yeah.
Sean was a bit disgusted with that at the end, but it's a great time. You know, he's in third position at the moment, as you just mentioned, but look at him, he's just not happy. So.
Yeah. Yeah, he knows. I mean, at least he had the wherewithal to not swing the axe while he had his foot on the floor.
Absolutely,
you know,
absolutely.
In the heat of competition, you get your foot down on the floor and you just want to keep going and hammering at that block. But you know, he
Your
was.
face says it all as well, by the way.
He was on point. He knew what he had to do, get back up there and keep going, and he did a good job. So, you know, their personal bests not reached here. Sean Oesch a bit closer than Esben in this case. Esben getting an official time 29.22. Sean Oesch with a 23.67. Now let's take a look back here. Yeah, that says it all right there from Esben. Bad salad this morning or something, maybe. Good start by both these guys. Both of them got a bit of a sticky axe on that first driver, but then got into the pace. But what was amazing for me is, and I actually called that Sean Oesch, but it was Esben Pedersen who was over to the second side of his block faster. And he really started to pick up the pace on the second side. And that's interesting to watch athletes who are a bit slower on the first side, but then start to really hammer with, you know, with precision and speed on that second side. And there you can see Sean Oesch trying to get back up on top before he swings that axe. And it was just one driver to get through. And that's why he was going, ugh. Yeah, that was that face. And yeah, we see Esben Pedersen did the same thing.
So there's heat number 5, Ivan Bambushka taking on Camille van Remdonk, and talking to a lot of the athletes. Many of them said Camille is one of the guys to watch in this competition.
Well, absolutely, and if you look at the tail of the tape here, the national record for the rookies is held by Camille van Remdonk, who is a multi-sports athlete. He competes in track and field, throwing the javelin as well, and he is a very fit young man. And to look at him, you would think, yeah, okay, nice, you know, teenage kid, 17 years old, hanging out. He's the same age as my boy, you know. But this kid is an absolute beast. He's a fantastic athlete, and the way he cuts, you'll see. Watch.
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready. Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
So right away, Camille van Remdonk getting into it. Ivan Bambushka, same thing. I mean, this guy's got a lot of talent. The thing is, Ivan Bambushka is a strong young man, and he got over to that second side. And now look at them pick up the pace here. Both of these guys really going for it. Who's going to get through there first, Van Remdonk or Bambushka? It's going to be Bambushka with a 25.6.
Can you believe it?
Oh, wow. I'm actually blown away here. Camille van Remdonk, I think he didn't do enough work on that first side and went a bit too wide on the second side, but that run from Bambushka was amazing. That was picture perfect from him.
Wow.
So Matthew Budd from Canada still holding the top spot, but we do now have an official time from Ivan Bambushkar. That's 20.22 seconds. So that means he's sitting in second place, just ahead of Nikolai Grunwald. And Camille van Remdong, middle of the pack here so far with 5th place as we get ready for our next 2 athletes. This should be a very interesting heat here. Cleveland Cherry from New Zealand is one of those guys that everybody's kind of looking at and going, yeah, he is the next New Zealand athlete to take the step onto the international stage. But let's watch this replay here first. And there you can see those drivers from Camille van Remdong. Huge chip that was just hanging there in the way of every hit. And that can be a problem. You want to get those things off that block so they're not in the way, because everything that's in the way of your axe on the swing down slows down the efficiency of the cut. And you can see here just hanging on by the toenails to keep that those feet on the block. You can see here really nice accurate drivers on that second side, but I think
thought he looked so good at the beginning of the second side.
He looked fantastic, but you can see he starts to get a little bit wild on that second side, gets a little bit steppy, and Ivan Bambushkar just with a really nice clean finish there. Good job by both those guys though. Nice time.
Absolutely. Only one more heat missing, and that is Cleveland Cherry taking on Matt Coffey. And you've mentioned it, that could be another cracker and could lead to some changes in the top 3.
Yeah, I mean, the Australasian battle here with Cleveland Cherry from New Zealand and Matt Coffey from Australia. At the moment, both of these guys are real close together in their national, in their best times, 15.85 and a 15.03. Cleveland Cherry with the national record for rookies for New Zealand. And he does have a little bit of international experience as well. We saw him last year.
And he's the kind of guy that stays so calm and focused all the time. He's
also the 3-time national rookie champion. Here we go.
3, 2, 1, go!
Look at the pace here. This is so typical for Australia. And Matt Coffey just going at it. He switches over to the other side. 1 stroke ahead of Cleveland Cherry. And look at that. The pace is increasing on the second side. It's unbelievable. Oh my God! That's a season's best, personal best. 14.52.
And stays calm as a cucumber. That's unbelievable.
Wow, what a heat there. Both those guys, their times will definitely go to the top 2 positions. But Matt Coffey, holy smokes, folks, a 14.52. Personal best, season's best for the young man from Australia.
Wow.
And Cleveland Cherry was right there with him with a 15.99. Only a few hundredths. Wait a minute. No, after adjustment, Cleveland Cherry also has a personal best of a 15.76. Fantastic heat for those 2 guys there. Amazing run. And we have 2 new guys at the top of the list. Matt Coffey taking the full 12 points in this discipline on top of that list with a great time. Cleveland Cherry and Matthew Budd in 2nd and 3rd places, and all those 3 guys on top have personal best. So that is an amazing result, and our underhand chop is done and dusted with some excitement already in the heats.
Crazy start into this competition. I mean, the quality, we're hopefully going to get some slow-mos now coming up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's the crew cleaning up the stage.
They're doing a great job, by the way.
Always. So look at this. Both these guys bang on those first drivers. We're almost in sync with each other. But you can see Matt Coffey. This is the closer feet to our picture there. And that's the Cleveland Cherry view. And you can see him just banging away at that block. A bit of a sticky one right there. Took him a long time to get out. Needed to wrench it to get out there. But look at Matt Coffey here. I mean, those are some beautiful drivers. Nice and accurate, nice and clean on those sides. Cleveland getting stuck again. And those are those things. You know, you throw a bit too much power into this in the wrong position, cutting new wood, and you get stuck. If you got a nice clean line and you keep the pace going, just like Matt did there, you got a great cut through and a nice time and a personal best. Well done.
He's really euphoric on that one, right?
Yeah.
Well done, sir. That's brilliant. So like you mentioned, Coffee in the lead with 12 points after this first discipline. We've got Jerry and Bud on his tail. And of course, Bambushka and Grönwald. That's the top 5 at the moment.
Yep. And that's the way the overall standing will look after that first discipline. So once we get into the second disciplines, and I mean, each of these guys have different strengths and weaknesses. So as we start to work into the next disciplines, you'll see how the rankings will start to adjust and switch around.
Talking about the next discipline, that's going to be the stock saw, and that is a very special one. That's the MS6661. That's a saw you can actually buy in any shop. I think you got one at home as well, right?
I wish.
Oh, well, that's what it's all about. Take a look at the next video.
The STIHL MS661 CM stock saw is used in STIHL Timbersports as the ultimate test of operator skill. Designed for the toughest jobs in forestry, it produces approximately 7.3 horsepower, has a displacement of 91.1 cc, and weighs 7.4 kilograms. To ensure evenly and fairly matched saws, professional steel technicians prepare and test the saws before each competition. Stock saw. After the starting shot, the contestants have to cut 2 wooden discs, so-called cookies, within a 10-centimeter mark, one downward and one upward. The attempt is only valid when both discs have been cut off completely and within the marks.
So let's take a look at the heats that we're going to see. Matthew Budd taking on Matt Coffey. We'll have to see Jack Morris take on Jean Oesch, then Camille van Remdonk against Ivan Bambushka. Heat number 4 consisting of Cleveland Jerry and Espen Pedersen. In heat 5, we're going to see Gavin Brombo against Nicola Trekariki. And in heat number 6, finally, then Tim Anthofer against Mikolaj Grönwald.
Yeah, Belgium, that is... Camille van Remdonk, they have a really good history with the motor saw in hand. That's not to say that none of these other countries do, but for whatever reason, you know, Belgium and Denmark have really solid stock sawyers. So let's see how this goes down. Meanwhile, Matt Budd and Matthew Budd and Matt Coffey. I don't know if he likes to be called Matthew or Matt, but we'll call him Matthew Budd for now, and Matt Coffey getting ready on this stand. Now you can see here those big blocks they have to cut through. There are the MS661 stock saws. No changes on the chain, no changes to the motor. Everything nice and safe. Same. So really it's about feeling the saw, listening to the sound the saw is making. Is it bogging out when you push down, or is it running a little bit too wild? And just keeping an ear more or less on what that saw is doing. It's about feel, it's not about power here.
Athletes, ready.
And it's the number 1, Matt Coffey, against the number 3 after the first discipline, Matthew Budd. That's a great start.
Really nice start by both of these guys. Thin to win is the word here, and Matthew Budd definitely having the thinner first cookie, but that second cookie is kind of fat, and he's got a good time. 9.96. That's a season's best, personal best for the young Canadian. Great job there. Matt Coffey from Australia with a 10.94. Again, these are unofficial times until our competition control center gives us the check mark and changes.
And you said, let's see how they get along. Well, that's the answer. 2 personal bests if they are officially approved.
We're lucky we have the...
Nice.
Both cuts are good. Personal best there by Matt Coffey, and it doesn't show, it does show it. Season's best and personal best by Matthew Budd at 9.37, under 10 seconds. That is a great stock saw when you think about the world record for stock saws, 9.09. So that's a really nice run by the Canadian. Speaking of the Canadians, the whole Canadian fan club is on the stands just below our location here, and our tower is attached
and they
to
are
that.
loud,
and when
really,
they're jumping
really
around and it's like earthquake mode up here. So let's take a look at this again here. So really nice quick start right there. Saw gets going. bit of an angle there by Matt Coffey heading down, but he corrects slightly. Now this first cookie by Matthew Budd is very, very nice. The transition, a bit of a swing, and then he leans into reset. Now that could be a dangerous situation on the upcut, but he's got a pretty decent cookie and his alignment is good. He's nowhere near that cutout line, so he's pretty safe in that respect. And there you can see that first cut. Ooh, it came real close to the edge there.
You mentioned thin to win. So
yeah, thin to win is the key on that second cookie. Now the transition from Matt Coffey was really, really nice. It was quick and it was accurate. Got a bit of a thicker cookie on the upcut, but that's okay. He didn't go over the line. And there you can see from those little hidden cameras that we have underneath the stands how those transitions can really work. The best in the world, you'll barely see the saw move away from the block as they transition to that upcut and have a nice clean line. There, Matthew Budd again. Boy, he got that motor right on, huh? So in the future, he'll probably want to not push the motor over so much. Sometimes you'll also see the guys adjust their footing a little bit, and that's just to make sure they're getting that comfortable feeling as they do move the saw through the wood. But the drawback but the drawback to moving your footing around is the change of the angle of the saw and your position and your alignment. So that can sometimes cause problems. Now, Jack Morris is a real solid stock sawyer. Sean Ush, quite adept as well. Tail of the tape gives the advantage to Jack Morris. And you can see he's been keeping himself fit. Sean Ush been really, really working hard to make sure that he is on point for this rookie competition. And again, Sean Ush will have to step up to the next level, whether it be pro or intermediate, after this season. And of course, there are plenty of British fans here to keep a close eye on Jack Morris, including his older brother, who I met earlier on.
I just love that sound.
Yeah, hey, if you're a gas head, this is absolutely, you know, for the rookies, they don't have a hot sauce, so if you're a gas head and a rookie fan, this is where you want to be.
Athletes, ready! Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Ooh, good start by Sean Ush. Jack Morris was a little bit slow. Ooh. Look at that cookie, though. It's massive. He's got to be careful on that upcut. Sean Ush looking good on his upcut. Jack Morris is quick on the upcut. Oh, wow! How close is that? Bang on the numbers, 11:59 to 11:71. And I almost went through the floor here in our tower. That was so close on the upcut. Although Jack Morris was a little bit slow on that first cut, they're going to check really closely on those lines because both of those guys had fat old cookies to start off with. Those kind of cookies don't even come out of grandma's oven. Jeez Louise.
Okay, congratulations. Both cuts are good.
That's what we want to hear.
That's what we want to hear. There we go. So an 11.36 for Jack Morris, an 11.51 for Sean Ush. And boy, those cookies, I mean, maybe it was the advantage of the thicker cookie falling faster because the times were that close, right?
Never heard that one before, but yeah, why not?
Newton's apple, right?
Oh, yeah. So here's the slow motions.
Yeah,
so we can take a closer look at those fat cookies.
That was quite a massive lift. Like, I mean, he went up to the third floor and then came back down to the first floor to make that cut. Sean Ush's first cookie was really nice and thin, but you can see here, the transition, he moved over significantly. So that's where it becomes really critical to make sure you don't get to that line.
Oh, I love that angle. I love that angle of the camera.
It's a beautiful shot as well, especially in slow-mo. You can see those teeth really working. Now, that was the second cookie from Jack Morris. This one is Sean Ush's second cookie here. The second cookie from Jack Morris was really, really nice and thin. That first cookie, though, was a bit of a beast. See, he lifts way up high to try and find that line. So that first cookie from Morris was, yeah, add some chocolate chips and you've got yourself a proper meal there. And you can see on the far side, the picture's a little bit fuzzy, but you can see it was definitely a thinner one. All right, coming up next, Camille van Remdonk going up against Ivan Bonbushkar. Ivan Bonbushkar is the guy with that rookie world record. Can he do it again? The wood's been cutting really well today. Camille van Remdonk knows that Bonbushkar has that world record. Now, let's not forget, folks, this is not elimination action here. These guys are just looking for the best time possible, but knowing that you've got the world record holder behind you is going to motivate Camille a little bit, I would say, to get that fast time.
ending up 7th in the underhand chop. I'm sure Camille wants to do better in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to need to pick up the pace, literally.
Athletes, ready! Stand to your timber.
Copy that.
3, 2, 1, go!
Great start by Bambushkar. Camille van Remdonk got a nice thin cookie to start as well. Bambushkar, fantastic. Van Remdonk really quick on the transition. Oh,
whoa!
That's close. Personal best for Van Remdonk right off the hop, 10.59. Bambushkar with a 10.71, and another one is really close, and Camille is super pumped about that one because he knows he had a proper competitor behind him on that one.
So 6 athletes, 3 personal bests already. Not too bad, not too bad at all.
No, love those personal bests that come out in the wash as well. That's always good to see.
Okay, congratulations.
So Andy Hall, our head judge on stage today for this rookie competition, gives us a thumbs up for both Camille and Ivan. And updated times, 10:44 Van Remdonk and a 10:52 for, excuse me, a 10:53 for Ivan Bambushkar. So Camille van Remdonk slips into 2nd place in the stock saw rankings here. Let's watch this slow-mo again. Yeah, Camille was just a hair faster getting to that saw and starting it off, so that boded well for him, and he's got a nice accurate cut there. Ivan Bambushkar, nice and thin. That second cookie, though, oh boy, that was a beast as well. Transition, that was the transition for Bambushkar as well. Oh, that's a beautiful transition from Camille, though. You can see he's got a pretty thin cookie there too, so nice accurate cuts.
That might have made the difference.
That, I think, absolutely made the difference, because you have to think about it. The more wood you have on the outside of that saw blade, the more pressure it's going to apply, believe it or not. You're cutting wood out of the way, but there is still an action of the wood compressing on the chain of the saw on the bar. So those things make a difference.
1/10 of a second, so that might be the big difference.
And they'll take every advantage they can get on stage.
So that's next heat coming up. Cleveland Cherry taking on Espen Pedersen.
I gotta tell you, Cleveland Cherry, one of the best names in timber sports, really.
Sure.
And he's making a name for himself in timber sports as well.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Yeah, as I mentioned, Cleveland's 3-time national rookie champion. Espen Pedersen I saw him in the catering. Salad.
Yeah, of course.
A little bit of bread, make sure he's got some food in there, but not too much. You don't want to be heavy on these competitions.
And it is the World Championships.
That it
Athletes,
is.
ready! Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, Espen Pedersen with a very nice start there. That is a fat first cut, though. He's got to be careful on the second one. Oh, he's got to reposition. That may be a problem for Espen Pedersen. On the upcut, he is a little bit slower than Cleveland Cherry. He had to reposition that saw. Now, what's critical here is, did he cut off enough and then reposition enough to make sure that he has a complete cookie? If he leaves a portional cookie on the floor, that means it will be a disqualification. So the judges will go and look. They'll see if they can find the piece and put it back like a puzzle, but it doesn't look like it in this case. Andy Hall throws the flag, and that means we're likely to have a disqualification for Espen Pedersen. That is unfortunate, our second disqualification of the day. And
but it looks like we're going to take a closer look because it's under review.
I think so too, because he came up and he tagged, and then he had to readjust to make sure that he could get that cookie complete on the deck. So they will have a look at it. They'll look very closely at everything. They're also discussing, oh, it looks like they're discussing Cleveland Cherries as well. Ooh, this could be interesting. Yeah, that doesn't look like a complete cookie there for, oh, that's 2 flags on the play. That seldom happens here. So that would be a rough slap in the face for both Espen Pedersen and Cleveland Cherry. So they are going to go to video review on these. Now this is one of the reasons why we have all of these different cameras all over the stage. So you can see there's the small cameras we see those underside shots from. There's also slow motion cameras that are up on the different light pylons around the stage that are focused on certain portions of the stage. And those cameras are super high speed cameras. So right now they are going to the video review and going to give us the update as soon as they get their information here. But that would be unfortunate if both of these guys had a DQ because of a cut line or an incomplete cookie.
But if the cookie leaves the log and it is complete, but just lands on the ground and then loses a piece, it would still be
if that happens, and if they can get that piece and put it back into place, or if they see that that's what actually happened in those high-speed slow-mo replays, then that will count. But it has to leave the block as a complete cookie. So if you've got an absolutely amazingly thin cookie, there is a high chance that it hits the deck and breaks, but that would still be counted as a complete cookie as long as it's not cut over the line.
Oh, we've got some tension music
so
coming in.
So we made a video check. We had disqualification on stand B for an incomplete disc. However, after a secondary video check, the cut is good.
Wow.
Well, Cleveland Sherry, sweating bullets there, got a good cut. Unfortunately for Espen Petersen, it's an incomplete cookie. And I think if we see in the review, you'll see on the transition to the upcut, Espen tagged the block and then had to come back in and reposition and didn't have the right position. Watch here. So it drops, he tags the block, cuts it out, and then he's got to reposition, and he didn't reposition over far enough because he was risking, if he goes over too far, to hit that blue line and cut the line. So he had like a double-edged sword, literally there, you know?
Yeah, they have to decide within milliseconds.
Yeah,
that's
and you can
not
see
an easy task.
It was the same situation for Cleveland Cherry. He didn't tag the block on the way up, but he felt like he wasn't getting the right position and then repositioned the saw, and that's why they were looking to see if he cut the line. But the review was okay for him, so he got lucky on that one. And you could see the angle of Espen Petersen's cut as well. As he came up, he started to move in towards that line. So it was a really risky cut for Espen Petersen all around. Interesting to see the different styles of the different athletes as well. You see these two guys are kind of standing to the side of their saws and guiding from the side, where a lot of the guys will stand right in front of the saw. So basically the handle of the saw sits at their belly button and they're like stepping over their saw.
It's getting loud again in Milano.
Yes, it is. So Nicola is going to have a chance here for redemption after being disqualified in the underhand chop for cutting the foothold. So will he be able to do it in the stock saw? He is going up against Gavin Brumbaugh.
So hopefully the Italian athletes will be able to collect his first points of the competition.
Yeah, it would be disappointment if he didn't get something.
Athletes, ready!
So he does.
Copy that.
Hold on. Restart, yeah.
Problemi tecnici.
Okay, gentlemen, warm up your swords. Athletes, ready!
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
A lot of bouncing before the start by Nicola. Gavin, oh! Something happened there with Gavin. I think that chain might have stalled mid-cut. Nicola, oh! Personal best for Trekaniki with a 10.55. Gavin Brumbaugh having all sorts of problems, and that upcut is super thin, but is he having a complete cookie on the deck? And you can see there, he is beside himself. He knows something went wrong. He pushed a little bit too hard on the downstroke, and I think the chain actually stopped, so he had to back up, re-give it some gas, and then push again. Let's see what we see in the replay, and if we have a yellow flag on the play. I don't think we will, though. I don't see any chance of them being near the line. It's about complete. Oh,
There's
we do.
The flag.
Oh,
There's
no.
the flag. Oh.
Oh, no. Under
That's
review
horrible.
on Gavin Brumbaugh's stand. So they are going to look at it again because of an incomplete cookie.
Everything that could go wrong just went wrong.
Disqualification for a cut line.
Oh, it's a cut line. Excuse me.
Cut is good.
The angle must have been really wild then because of the cut line, because from our perspective up here, I still see most of the line on Gavin's block, but he is going to be disappointed after that. And you knew it. You knew it right afterwards. He put his hands on his face and he was just like, oh my God.
And Trikariki putting himself into second position, and I think we can talk to him. So let's find if Carlo has Nicola.
Circuito live, quindi okay, all right, we are here with the Italian Nicola Trecarichi competing here in Italy. È la tua gara di casa, allora spiegaci un po' qual è l'emozione, quali sono i momenti che fino adesso ti hanno accompagnato.
Allora, l'emozione è veramente tanta, per me è già un onore essere qua e ringrazio anche tutto il pubblico, i tifosi e tutto. Per me è stata già una cosa molto importante essere qua oggi e partecipare a questa competizione con degli atleti fortissimi. Ho cercato di dare il massimo, purtroppo ho avuto la squalifica nell'underhand perché ho tagliato la pedana e adesso mi sono rifatto un po' con la stock, so vediamo i punteggi e vediamo come andrà.
He says he's very honored to be part of this competition, to be able to compete here in Italy, in his country. He said he's giving the maximum he had. Unfortunately, he was disqualified in one of the two races up to now, disciplines up to now. In the second one, he did really good, and he hopes to get to the next round. Of course, it's not easy, but he says it was really, really great for him to compete amongst so many good other competitors. Qual è, diciamo, se qualcuno non conosce questa disciplina, qual è il bello, cos'è il bello dei timber sports? Qual è l'emozione, quali sono, diciamo, le highlights di questo sport?
Diciamo che se uno vuole sfogarsi, questo è l'ideale.
I just asked him what is the most important thing you can tell us. What are the highlights of this sport? If you're just frustrated, this is the right sport to get off this frustration, to feel better again. Grazie a Nicola Trecarichi. Thank you so much. Un applauso. Back to the studio. This is Milano. This is STIHL World Championships, Rookie World Championship 2024.
Was that the same with you, Troy, starting with timber sports?
Yeah. Frustration. All right, let's take a look back here. You can see Nicola and Gavin. Now, Gavin, I wouldn't mind seeing that first cut from him again. There's something that happened on that first cut, and then he actually had a really strange angle going from the inside cut. On the upcut, I think it was the problem. Maybe we can get a different angle for Gavin there. Yeah, it looked like his bar on his saw was pointing to the left, and that's why he cut a little bit too much over the line, and that was the reason for his disqualification. But love to see that personal best by Nicola, and yeah, the improvement. You can see right there, Gavin is just heading towards that line. The angle of cut is just a little bit too far over, and there it is, just barely cutting it over. Yeah.
Just one more heat coming up. Nicola at the moment in 8th position. So either Team Anthofer or Nikolai Grönwald could still overtake him. Let's see what's going to happen.
So Nikolai Grönwald with a national record for rookies for Poland with a 10 and change. Tim Anthofer, on the other hand, is a little bit faster and doesn't hold a national record, but his personal best is just under 10 with a 9.98.
And only the top 8 can make it to the next round.
9.88, excuse me, Nikolai with a 10.12.
Okay, gentlemen, warm up your swords.
Look at that scenery.
Athletes, ready!
Here we go.
To your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, very slow start by Nikolai Grunwald. Tim Anthofer with a massively cut first cut. Grunwald trying to get that second cut quick. Oh my goodness, and he was very fast. Nikolai Grunwald's got to go back, however, and recut another cookie because he's got an incomplete cookie. And could he have gone over the line? Oh, he sees it too. He knows he's got to cut over the line, and that means it's probably going to be a DQ for Nikolai Grunwald. Tim Anthofer, I didn't see that second cookie clearly for him, but it looked like that first cookie was a massive thing. Let's see here. Yeah, we've got a flag on that side for Nikolai Grunwald. Yeah, you can see that first cookie there was just a bit too thin. And you can see what you said earlier. The parts are there. Perhaps he could have gotten away with it, but he didn't want to risk it. He went back and cut a third cookie. That slows down his time and everything. And yeah.
However, this cut is good.
All right, so Tim Anthofer with a 10.60, and unfortunately for Nikolai Grunwald, a DQ in the stock saw, and that finishes our first round of action up. We'll eliminate a few athletes here, and that means we'll go on to the next round with, correct me if I'm wrong, 8 guys.
Absolutely, and if my maths is not wrong, Tim Anthofer just made it to 8th position now in the overall score, and Nicola Trecaricchi would have to leave us in this competition, but let's wait for the official results. That will be coming up in just a moment.
The problem we're looking at here is these guys in 7, 8, and 9 all have 11 points each. Yeah, but it's about the times then for each of the individual disciplines, and Tim Anthofer was just a little bit faster in the other 2 disciplines.
Yeah, the DQ, of course, is not helpful.
Not helpful at all, yeah.
Oh, it's so much about tactics as well. It doesn't have to be underestimate that. But great slow-mos again that we're getting delivered here from our cameras.
Yeah, the camera crew are second to none here for these events, and they really get themselves into those precarious positions. You know, the guys will be sitting down there, Booma and crew on stage with their faces being completely filled with sawdust, getting those fantastic shots on those really, really crazy angles, yeah? And there you can see, I don't know what happened there. Nikolai had a really slow start lined up, and then we could see this cut here from Nikolai. It's very thin, that first cookie, and I think it might have been the first cookie that was the problem cookie, but I'm not 100% sure. So, yeah, unfortunately, we see the results there for stock saw, and now we should be able to also see the change in the overall standings. Let's not forget, we're taking the top 8 athletes into round number 2.
And look at the number of personal bests that we got to see.
All right. Beautiful mountain shots, and then, yeah, us.
And then us too.
Here we go.
So there we have it. In round 1, points are being added together from underhand chop and stock saw. And yeah, we've got Bud Coffee, Bambushka, Van Remdonk, Cherry, Ursh, Morris, and Anthofer, just like I said before. Trecaricchi just falling out of this, having the 11 points that Morris and Anthofer also has, but with the DQ, of course, a slower overall time, and that's why we have to say goodbye, and that is a bit sad, if I may say so.
Absolutely, and actually I'm quite surprised to see Nikolai Grunwald go out, and I'm also quite surprised to see Espen Petersen go out. But I mean, that's what's happening these days. You know, 5 years ago, the rookies would have been all over the map with their skill levels. Now they're so close together, it's literally millimeters and milliseconds that are making the difference between these guys getting into the next round and being eliminated, like we see. 4 absolutely fantastic athletes will have to now sit there and watch their compatriots on stage and do their thing.
And this gives us the chance to relax, to breathe, and have a short commercial break before we return for round number 2. Yep, we are ready for round number 2, and of course our judges now have to find out what the heats are going to look like, which might make a little difference as we are getting closer and closer towards round number 3. We've got the discipline standing block chop coming up. We'll tell you all about this in just a moment. But for now, Troy, how's it been for you so far? You mentioned those athletes, you know, getting better and better, getting closer together. It has been quite a change over the last few years.
Well, if you watch the way that the athletes have developed over the last few years, you're not seeing these massive guys that are basically just throwing, nice, that are just throwing everything at it that they have. They're very fit athletes, and even if they are bigger guys, they're super fit. You can see how quickly they move. They're agile. You know, we've seen some guys that are, you know, in my weight class and above, that are moving around like cats on these springboards. Later on, we'll see the springboard with one board with these rookies. But, you know, the fitness level of these guys has gone through the roof. And we're seeing that with the rookies through the pros. And this is the next generation of athletes that are going to be the pros. And they're the ones to watch today to see who's going to be the stars of next year.
And we've just seen that the heats are ready. And, of course, we want to tell you everything you need to know about the next discipline. So take a closer look.
Standing block chop. At the standing block chop, the felling of a tree with an axe is simulated. A vertically positioned wooden block with a diameter of 27 centimeters has to be cut through from both sides. A powerful and precise swing with the axe is the premise of a good result.
8 athletes remaining. That means we have 4 more heats coming up. And the first heat is between Tim Anthofer and Jack Morris.
So Jack Morris and Tim Anthofer, by tail of the tape, are really, really evenly matched up. Jack Morris with the national record for rookies. And you can see here Tim with a 19.56, Jack Morris with a 19.33. So slight advantage to Jack Morris. Tim Anthofer is a bigger man, though. He's got a bit more power. But like I said earlier, it's not necessarily all about power. You got to find those exactly right angles, and you actually have to put the axe in accurately. And if you have accurate hits, then you're going to be faster through the block. Absolutely.
Okay, gentlemen.
Look at those
athletes ready.
Oh, wow. Sharp. Here we go.
And that first heat, that is always the most exciting one, if you ask me.
All right, Jack Morris is really good at this discipline, by the way. He is a solid young man. He's small, but very powerful. And he's already over to the other side. Now, the question is, was his choice to go over to the other side after
Maybe
6 or 7 hits? Might have been a bit too early. Tim Anthofer well behind, though, moving on to the second side, but he got a bit more work done on that first side. But it's looking good for Jack Morris. Oh! One final blow, 2 maybe. No, it's going to be more. He's got a thread that's hanging on. 25.78 for Jack Morris. That's well off his personal best. Oh, no, and Tim Anthofer broke the axe handle. He's got to go and get his backup axe. That kills his time massively, and that means he's going to keep going, but his time is going to be way off the mark.
And
one more driver, and he is off with 42.54. Ah, that is a devastating one for Tim. That axe handle just broke on that second-to-last driver, and he had to go over and get the backup axe. This is the reason why we have those axes up there. Boy, he really hammered it there. I wonder if he actually hit the handle on the way in on the block, or if something else was going on with that axe. Those are expensive tools to break like that as well.
And hopefully we're going to see how it happened in the slow motion. Both cuts are good. That's
at least something.
That's a good thing about this heat, but
42.08 though for Tim Anthofer. That's like double plus a bit that his normal time. So yeah, that's a real unfortunate situation for the German.
And he knew it was over. You could see him walk over to the axe, not speeding.
Yeah, he didn't run or anything like that. There's no point in risking it. I mean, if you've got something else on the line and you know you can really make a difference, then get over there and get it done. But let's watch this here. You can see both of them getting in some really, really nice solid drivers there. Tim looking good. He's got that big chip that needs to come out though. And it's on the other side when he actually manages to break it. Now here we see Jack Morris move over to the other side. He is absolutely motivated this year. Look at those 2 drivers on the bottom there, really nice and accurate. Same thing on the top now. And this other angle from Jack, you can see he's just putting everything he's got into it. Right there, really sticky, a bit too much power in that one. Not cutting any new wood though, no steps there. That was a bit of a new shot. And you get tired, you get flat, and then that's when it starts to get a little bit harder to get through. Now here, you can see Tim. This is, I think, where he actually breaks the handle. Yeah, right there. Oh, my goodness.
Woo.
Yeah, that was a split in the axe handle, I believe. Maybe it happened along the way somewhere, and then when he actually impacted the block.
Yeah, but that was massive.
You can see another angle here. Let's see if we get this one through in the slow-mo. It's right. Yeah, the handle actually drove into the wood there, and he had the spike left in his
horrible.
hand. Yeah, that's horrible. But I mean, with respect, you know, he this is the second. He stepped back and he's like, oh man, and he's got to go over and get his other axe. So yeah.
Let's see what Sean Oesch and Cleveland Cherry are going to show us in this heat number 2. The personal best would suggest that Cleveland Cherry is going to take this one home, but
Cleveland's been working hard on this discipline. I think maybe this is going to be a good one for him. It hasn't been super solid for him. He's more underhand power, but I think it will be interesting to see how he performs in this one today, because I know that that he's been working hard on the standing.
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
Cleveland Cherry, look at that. Look at the pace. This is the pace that you usually see on the underhand chop. He's about 1.5 strokes ahead of Sean Oesch on the second side. This should be a good time for. Oh yes, look at that! A personal best 13.45.
Both of them really killing it.
And they both battered their personal best. Cleveland Cherry by 2 seconds and change. Sean Oesch by a good 4 seconds. So that was a fantastic run for both of these guys who really put everything into it. Amazing by both of them. Congratulations on personal best for these guys. And like I always say, you know, we love to see those personal bests fall. It means there's improvement across the board for them. And that is a good job by Cleveland Cherry. He went at that block like mad.
Yeah, the crowd is going wild.
Yeah. That was a great run.
Brilliance. Can't wait for the replay.
So you know. And I mean, yeah, okay, these guys, they go at it quick and everything, but, you know, normally you're seeing those really fast axes on the underhand chop because you got the gravity working in your favor in that case. But here, it's something you don't normally see with that kind of pace, but Cleveland absolutely went for it. And if Cleveland ever decides to stop competing on the timber sports, he could always go into singing, because he's got the perfect artist name for singing.
Perfect artist name for anything, if you ask me.
Really.
But Sean Oesch, you know, 4 seconds better than his personal best. That is absolutely impressive.
You can see the hits here. It gives you the number of hits it took these guys to get through that block. I mean, that was quick. 12 hits total.
Boom. Boom.
That was a beautiful last driver, huh? Jeez, look at that.
Yeah, and Sean thought, yeah, I want to do that as well.
Yeah, I mean, Sean was really quick, you know, because Cleveland was over to the other side, about 1.5 drivers ahead of Sean Oesch. Look at that first hit, though, by Sean. How deep did that axe go in there? Look at the work he has to do to take it out. And by then, Cleveland had already gotten 2 or 3 drivers into that block.
Boom.
See, that was a nice clean hit. The accuracy, beautiful by Sean Oesch there. And then he moves to the top after 2 from down below. Yeah, that was a nice run.
And the highlights keep on coming in. Camille van Remdonk against Ivan Bambushka.
Yeah, this is definitely Camille's discipline. National record with 12.48. This young man can swing this axe like crazy. Now, I don't want to jinx him, because I feel like I might have jinxed him on the underhand chop where he wasn't as strong as I thought he was going to be. But you know, the kid can swing him. Ivan Bambushka on the other side of the stage, far side from our position here, in the white and red jersey. Czech Republic being represented very well here.
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
So keep a close eye on both of them. Look at how quick they're swinging the axe. This seems to be the trend. And Camille van Remdonk does not like that block. Again, got a few chips hanging there, and he needs to get those out of the way. And you can see the power these guys are putting into that. Whoa! Camille van Remdonk done in 13:04. Ivan Bambushkar in 16:11.
What on earth is going on at the moment?
Nice times, and that means Camille van Remdonk will unofficially take over the top spot just ahead of Cleveland Cherry. Ivan Bambushkar slips into 4th place there, just ahead of Jack Morris. And remember, we're only taking the top 6 guys from round 2, and that is this discipline, the standing block chop, and the single buck before we send them to the single board springboard.
Okay,
so
that pace was ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And the crowd really enjoying this at the moment.
Yeah, so one more heat to go here in this discipline, standing block chop, and that's heat number 4, but we'll take a look at the slow-mos before then with these beautiful towers in the background. Somebody mentioned to me the other day that it's a little bit like Dubai in the middle of Milan.
Yeah, not far off.
So there you can see
even in slow motion, this is fast.
Yeah, I mean, this is much faster than my speed. You can see here the difference in the hits. Camille van Remdonk taking 13 hits to get that done, and Ivan Bambushkar 14 hits. Again, you can see going in a bit flat on those last 2 drivers before he goes over to the other side. So this is what happens when you get a bit tired. Oh, and that was a big problem there for Camille. He could have been a bit faster, but he had a big chip that slabbed away, and that left a large piece of the block still standing there. He had a quick look at the time. He's like, and he also looked at Radu Kasagu, the other judge on stage, to make sure that there was no hand going back to the flag, you know?
So there's heat number 4, just like you mentioned. And it is, of course, Australia versus Canada. Matt Coffey taking on Matthew Budd.
These guys were the 2 guys at the top of the rankings coming into this discipline, so will they be able to retake the top spot, and who will be on the number 1 spot? At the moment, Matthew Budd from Canada was holding on to the top spot, so if he can get a good time here and be slightly faster than Matt Coffey, we may see that hold, but anything can happen in this sport, so let's see.
Okay, gentlemen, athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
So right away, Matthew Budd getting into it, and oh, he's a bit slow getting to that second side compared to Matt Coffey. Matt Coffey looking good. He might get through there quick. Oh, personal best 14 seconds. Matt Budd still working on that second side. He slipped through that one. He's got to really work on that one thread that's holding on. A 23.3, so he improves significantly over his previous personal best time of 27, but not quite fast enough, so I believe Matt Coffey should take over the top spot in the overall standings here after the standing block chop. Oh yeah, and the time, I'm looking at that right now, that time, because it was 21:31, even though it was a personal best, it slips Matthew Budd down fairly significantly in the standings to 6th place.
So if our maths is correct, in the overall standing, that would put Matthew Budd into 4th position, and Matt Coffey staying on top with 33 points.
Excuse me, I lied, not 6th, 4th. You're absolutely correct, but I'm not a math guy, so there you go.
Yeah, but he's 6th in the standing block chop, so you're And one thing is for sure, the top 5 athletes are very, very close together.
Yeah. So we're waiting for the next graphic to pop in here. Hopefully we'll get that. Here we go, the overall standings. There we go. So Matt Coffey and Cleveland Cherry on the top 2 spots. Camille van Remdonk sitting in 3rd place. So bodes well for Camille van Remdonk, who was one of my favorites to really do well this year. He hasn't been on point with the underhand chop. He was very good in the stock saw. He looked really good in the standing block chop. So he is definitely still in the mix.
Seems to be getting better and better.
He seems to be getting it better and better. And I do know that Camille has a very good single buck, speaking of.
Oh, and that is one of your favorites,
yeah,
right?
My favorite.
The misery whip.
The misery whip. Oh.
Let's take a closer look at the next discipline.
The 2-meter-long cross-cut saw used for the single buck discipline is made especially for competition. A series of consistently patterned 10-centimeter-long teeth are cut with a laser on one side of the saw and then hand sharpened. Saw teeth are divided into 2 types, cutters and rakers, just like on the old-school saws. The saw weighs about 5 kilos and its base price starts at around 1,500 euros. Single buck. The single buck is a one-man saw about 2 meters long. With this, the athletes have to cut off a complete disc of a 46-centimeter thick wooden block. The perfect interplay between rhythm and strength is the key to success.
So there we have the heats that are coming up in the single buck. Tim Anthofer versus Jack Morris. Sean Oesch against Cleveland Cherry. Camille van Remdonk against Ivan Babushka. And Matt Coffey taking on Matthew Butt. And the first heat is ready.
Yeah, this is a fun one. I mean, you can't mess around with this saw. 2 meters long,
I like that.
cross-cut saw. You got to be good. Jack Morris actually was helping me out in the British Championships when I cut the single buck there with the media crew, and he was screaming in my ear, "Come on, Troy, come on!" So it was a lot of fun, and I hope to do that again when we go back to Great Britain there. And you can see Tim Anthofer getting set with his saw. Look at those teeth, the cutters and the sweepers, yeah? And you know, the angle is so important here. If you angle that saw even slightly, it will hook up on the edge of the wood and stop abruptly, and then it is a bear to restart. So you don't want to have that thing stopping at all. You want to keep that thing flowing, and you want to keep movement on that saw. It's like a dance with a deadly piece of material.
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, very nice start by Jack Morris there. Tim Anthofer, it took him a little bit to get started, but Jack Morris is using that saw really efficiently. Very nice cut so far for Morris as he's just passing the 10-second mark, and he gets a season best, personal best 11.36. Morris ripping it, and a personal best of 15.99 for Tim Anthofer. Great job by both of these guys, first of all, to get those PBs, but Jack Morris absolutely blisteringly fast. And 2 different styles here as well. You can see Tim Anthofer a little bit shorter on his cuts, but quick, and Jack Morris using the entire length of that saw to really be efficient.
Both cuts are good.
And Anthofer, if you wouldn't have had the hiccup at the beginning,
you would have been fast. You would have been much faster, I think. I mean, you could also count that little hookup and start hiccup, as you said, as maybe 1 to 1.5 seconds, right? So that's a difference maker in a big way. Let's get back into those replays and take a look here how things started for both of these guys.
And full credit to Jack Morris. That was
it was
amazing.
A real nice cut.
He looked flashy from the very first till the very last second. That was impressive. Let's hopefully get some slow-mos from that heat. Here we go.
So you can see there, he's using the entire length of the saw as much as he possibly can. Almost getting knuckles to tip there as he gets into the wood a little bit more. Now he starts to really work that saw back and forth. You can see there's no rocking on the saw, barely any at all. And Tim Anthofer here He's got a bit of a different style as well. He stands a little bit more sideways to the saw as opposed to behind it. So he's depending a lot on his core strength to really push that through. He's a big man though, like he's a tall guy. He could utilize his back foot a little bit more and stepping back instead of being beside the saw, being a little bit more behind the saw and really pushing through. But both of those guys cutting really, really nicely. Jack Morris, very, very solid cut there. So right now, in this discipline, he's at the top of it with a 10.97 time. That's the time to beat, so if he can hold on to that, he'll get 16 points out of this discipline. Again, we should remind all the people out there that we are not eliminating athletes from each of these disciplines in these head-to-head heats. It's only about getting the best time possible.
And did you see his bicep? Oh,
yeah.
These guys are fit.
They're very fit. Now, Cleveland Cherry is pretty strong in this discipline. His personal best at 25.9, not quite close to Sean Usch's, but again, you know, I mentioned that Cleveland's been working on all of those disciplines where he wasn't feeling super, super solid, and I can guarantee you that Cleveland is going to have a much better run here than his 25.9 time if he keeps everything on pace the way that he's been training. Sean Usch, he's a tall guy. He can use that to his advantage. He's got a lot of power, so he can really, really have that. And I mean, he seems to almost be, I don't know if I would want to say a natural talent when it comes to the single buck, if that's even possible. But he's a solid single sawyer, definitely. Now, interesting start positions by both of these guys. If you look at where Sean Usch sets his saw, he's got it almost at the handle end set in the block, whereas Cleveland has it nearly in the middle of his block. Or in the middle of his saw. Let's see, here we go.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, a bit of a chunky start by Sean Usch. Cleveland Cherry got a nice smooth go though, and Sean is really bending that saw. Ooh, Cleveland Cherry running into a problem, and this is one of those things that you got to really be careful of. He's got to set that saw back in and cut that tab off. Oh man, that is a rough one, and he's going to go back up and cut another piece because he doesn't have enough material. And look at the angle that he's got there. So at the beginning, when he set that saw in place, he had too much angle, and once you get that saw moving, you can't change the angle of that saw without bowing it, and then the name Misery Whip comes into play completely. So this is going to be a deadly time crunch for Cleveland Cherry as he gets through. Look at how smooth and easy that cut was there for him, but unfortunately he broke it off, tabbed out, and then he had to reset because he didn't have enough material to cut that little tab off. And that's one of the risks with this saw, is if you push too hard and twist it a little bit to try and readjust the angle, you break off the top part of the cookie.
And he didn't have much of a choice, did he?
No, he really didn't, because he didn't have very much material to hook on to the bottom and that tab. But Sean Usch, good job by him. 13.53, so no personal best there. Unfortunately for Cleveland Cherry.
Congratulations, both cuts are good.
Unfortunately for Cleveland Cherry, a little bit too much gumption and glue went into that one, and he broke it off, and he's going to be very disappointed about that because he knows he can do better. He's been working at it, and you can see that he's been working at it because that second cut that he did was beautiful and smooth and would have been really quick had he done that cut the first time around.
That might be costly considering the points.
Yep.
Before we take it to the final discipline and the last round, but let's focus on the slow-mos and maybe find out where things went wrong, Troy.
Yeah, I mean, you could see that the start for Sean Usch was kind of ugly, to be honest with you. It took him a while to get that saw moving. Cleveland, meanwhile, he had a really nice start, but you could see that block start to wiggle and waggle, and when he pulled back, he twisted at the same time and broke off the piece, right? And that's where...
And didn't have enough material
yeah,
to...
there was just nothing there. So he really needed to come back in and start over again. Now watch what happens here when Cleveland resets the saw on top. He sets it in place. He's got a nice, clean, straight cut, and he was just relaxed through it. And that was the difference maker. He was relaxed through it. He wasn't stressing. And I think that's what happened when he cut the first time. He was stressing through the cuts, twisted because he saw his saw was at an angle, and then that was his problem right there. maybe he felt like he was going to cut out the cookie at the bottom, but yeah, a bit of a rough situation for Cleveland Cherry from New Zealand as we move on to our next heat.
Camille van Remdonk taking on Ivan Babushka. 100 Ks on Babushka's side and 82 Ks van Remdonk.
Yeah, don't let that weight fool you, though. He's got power.
I was just going to ask, you know, it's also a matter of position. You've been mentioning it a lot of times that some stand more to the side, others more directly behind the sword. Is there like one proper way, or are there different ways that lead to Rome?
Well, I think that it depends entirely on you know, your style. You can have an efficient style and still stand to the side, depending on, you know, how you utilize your body. You know, some guys, they're tall and they can stand beside that saw and push off the back leg and really drive through using core power. You know, a guy like Camille, who's not super tall, is going to need to want to stand behind that saw and push through and use the power in his legs and his core as well.
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
And you can even see with
Camille, rough start. Bambushkar looking very good though. Camille's gotten into the flow now, but Bambushkar's got a really good... Oh! He gets stuck at the bottom. Camille gets stuck as well. But Bambushkar's got an 11:30 personal best. And Camille van Remdonk at 12:76, so a little bit slower than his PB.
But
Solid
he even loves it.
Solid times, though. So Bambushkar actually has a time that's good enough to put him in second place, and Camille van Remdonk pushes all the other guys down from third place to 4, 5, 6 is Sean Ush, Tim Anthofer, and Cleveland Cherry, respectively. So a couple of chunky runs for both of these guys. Surprisingly chunky start for Camille van Remdonk, almost a bit ugly. And then at the bottom, I think he got a little bit too excited, angled the saw up a little bit, and hooked it up on the way through. So we'll see in the slow-mo again here.
Something I'd also like to talk to you with about, Troy, is that Camille is wearing 2 different shoes.
Yeah, on that right foot, he's got a spiked shoe, kind of like what they would use for shot put or javelin. And some of the guys will have 2, where they'll, you know, wear the spikes to give them more grip on the
Or just put spikes on the second shoe, but he's got a completely different shoe in his right foot.
Yeah. There's something about the Swiss guys that they want to wear golf shoes with those old school metal spikes and the wingtips. So, yeah, it's different all around the block. So you can see here Camille really using that saw efficiently. Like, I mean, he is using the entire length of the saw right there, though. Got a little bit too much up angle, and then it hooked up on him, and he's got to restart the saw. That's a tough thing to do, and that costs time. You know, it's a millisecond here, a millisecond there, but then before you know it, you got like 5/10 of a second or 10, you know, 11/10 of a second too much. And yeah, Bambushkar with a nice clean cut. He got a bit stuck in the bottom of that as well. So both these guys may be getting a little bit too excited towards the bottom of their cut here. And you can see there, the misery. That is the exact reason why they call it the misery whip, yeah?
Wow.
That thing stops, bends, you could get out a bow and play music on it, you know? It's just madness.
That's a nice shot. But brilliant stuff from our camera team.
Absolutely. Like I said, those guys are getting all the good angles.
So one more heat in the single buck competition. Matt Coffey taking on Matthew Budd.
Matthew Budd definitely with the advantage on the tail of the tape here. National record with 13.954 Canadian rookies. Matt Coffey, a 19.50.
Yeah, but he's been so strong so far, so
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, he just needs to have a middle-of-the-pack run in order to be able to stay on top of the overall rankings. Right now, 40 points is the top spot for, and it's held by Ivan Bambushkar and Camille van Remdonk. So both of those guys in the top spot. But yeah, we'll see what Matt Coffey and Matthew Budd can do here. Maybe this is going to be another one of those situations where Matthew Budd takes back that top spot from Matthew Coffey with a really good single buck, excuse me.
And I'm sure these two athletes are going to push each other, so...
You know it.
This is going to be a fast one. I'm 100%
Gentlemen,
sure.
athletes ready!
Stand to your timber.
Interesting start position by Matt Coffey as well. He's
Mr. Calm, if you ask me.
Yeah,
always
absolutely.
Mr. Calm.
So a little bit of rocking going on here from Matthew Budd.
Looking good, looking good.
Matt Coffey's looking
Look
really
at that,
good.
look at that.
Season's best, personal best, 9:33. Single buck world record for rookies without assistance is 9:01. So that is a fantastic run from Matt Coffey. Matthew Budd did it again, though. He's got himself another personal best with a 13:35. And look at that, 5 personal bests in the single buck. That is a fantastic set of actions there. Wow. Matt Coffey just threw the gauntlet down, 49 points total, 11 points ahead of the next closest athlete.
And let's talk about personal bests.
Okay, congratulations.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute.
That's a good.
No, 9:09 was the adjustment, and I just saw 9:01 world record. Yeah, that's how close he was to a rookie world record.
And his personal best before coming here was 19.5.
Yeah, he almost halved it. He did, in fact, cut it in half by
that is
a little
crazy.
bit. Yeah.
That is an improvement that at least I have not seen in this amount.
Well, it tells you a lot. It tells you a lot about the training that these guys go through. It tells you a lot about the guys that are helping them train in these various disciplines. It also tells you a lot about what adrenaline can do in these situations, right?
What an athlete. And he's always so calm, always so focused.
But watch how the saw disappears. Well, almost there, but as we get deeper into the cut, you'll see he goes knuckles and then pulls back on the saw. The tip disappears right into it. But what was interesting for me is how Matt Coffey started off. He was standing with the saw handle at his chest before he got started. Normally, you're going to see guys doing what Matthew Budd did. They're well back of the saw, so they can either pull back and push in, or really get that saw going.
It worked a treat.
Yeah, but Matthew Budd, we saw that saw got stuck quite a few times at the top of his cut, so that was really the problem for him. Matt Coffey did a great job to keep that saw moving, though, and Matthew Budd and Matt Coffey are going to be going at each other all day long, I believe. It's going to be two guys that are going to be really battling hard for the positions in the overall standings right now. I keep saying Matthew Budd in 4th place, Matt Coffey in the top spot. So Matthew Budd's got a work cut out for him, and we're going to see here the single buck results.
Look at that. Seasonal best, personal best, seasonal best, personal best, personal best, personal best, personal best. I'm not going to get tired of mentioning this.
No, never, ever. I love the fact that Jack Morris, as diminutive as he is, had the 2nd fastest time, and let's see how that affects our overall standings here. Remember, we're taking the top 6 athletes here into the next round, so let's look at that. So Jack Morris just squeaks into the final, and the final is going to be the springboard, and we're going to see Cleveland Cherry, Matthew Budd, Camille van Remdonk, Ivan Bambushkar, and Matt Coffey all going on to the final. And the final, like I said, is the springboard with a single board.
Can't wait for that. That's one of my absolute favorite disciplines.
Yeah, it's a finicky one. The springboard is so many things happening all at the same time with the springboard. You can't mess around there at all. Now with the rookies, it's not like with the pros where you have 2 springboards at a super high level. The rookies have a single springboard, and this is a matter of in the last couple of years, the springboard has been introduced to the rookies so that they get a chance to work into the springboard discipline slower, so that when they do get to the pro level, they are adept at putting the board in and being able to put a second board in and cutting from 2 meters up.
And somebody that knows all about this discipline, of course, is Matt Koga, and
yes,
he is with Carlo at this very moment, I hope. Guys, over to you.
Hello, we are here now in the live stream, and I'm honored to have a quick interview with Matt Koga. Salutiamo Matt Koga, il campione del mondo 2019, World Trophy winner 2019. So, talking about you, how do you prepare for tonight is the second question. The first question, I just saw that you followed the Rookies World Championship. What did you see up to now? What are the next-gen timber sports aces looking like?
It's an exciting time to be watching some of these rookies going. I mean, they're the next generation that's going to take over the sport, and they're amazing races going on. You know, there's a lot of nerves, I'm sure, but yeah, that's all part of the competition. And you know, there's a lot of personal bests getting laid down, and yeah, it's awesome to watch. And there's a lot of excitement built behind it.
Malgrado il fatto che poi fra poco stasera lui andrà in gara, è riuscito a seguire la gara, dice che è veramente è stato sorpreso da quanto di buono è riuscito a vedere. Questi sono i campioni di domani, dice, e quanti personal best, cioè quanti primati personali stanno a certificare la qualità di questi atleti a venire. So, in a couple of hours is your turn. World Trophy 2024, you being the winner 2019 of this trophy, that means that you're one of the favorites. How did you prepare for tonight?
I spent a lot of time just practicing the actual skill sets. So like going through the chopping disciplines, through the sawing disciplines, making sure I got everything under control, and then start working on the fitness. And so I actually made a hybrid program where I would do ski erg for 30 seconds, single buck, come back and do 30 seconds more of ski erg. And that was sort of the same feeling as the standing block finish. And I would do several rounds of that in preparation. So that kind of gives me the same feel as hopefully race number 4.
Dice che appunto ha un programma misto dove per appunto si prepara in primis sulle varie discipline che poi abbiamo visto oggi, e in secondo luogo ha anche un programma di fitness che lo porta appunto a simulare la gara, quindi da una parte le discipline, dall'altra parte il programma di fitness, di energia, di building up poi la sua power per arrivare preparatissimo questa sera. Good luck, thank you for the interview, and big hands for him from the audience. Facciamoci sentire Matt Kogar, USA.
I couldn't have said it better myself, to be honest. Matt Kogar seems to be very, very prepared. Definitely a man to watch tonight.
Andiamo, Matt, andiamo.
Sì, sì. Yes.
Sì,
sì. We've seen a lot of things happening down there, and you kept mentioning the wood. The wood is good. What does that mean?
Yeah. Well, the wood is good. I mean, this wood gets prepared months in advance so that the logs are all the same size. They're all fair. It's drawn by lottery. A lot of people look at this and go, wow, you guys are wasting a lot of material out there. But that's not actually the case. The wood is prepared and grown, and it's all very sustainable. All of the stuff that you see blown off the stage is collected afterwards. I mean, I could go on and on and on about how it is, but let's
rather watch a video
and watch a video of how it actually works with our sustainable wood. Yeah?
We as STIHL TimberSports pride ourselves that all wood is sustainably grown, harvested and recycled to minimise the overall amount of wood processed. After all our STIHL competitions, all the spent wood is collected and recycled right down to the wood chips and sawdust, which, for example, is converted into renewable energy in the form of wood pellets for biomass.
There's still some wild out there, but to look for it, you need something that can look adventure in the eye. Something built wild. You need a Bronco.
A lot of things happening here at STIHL TimberSports, not only today. For me, this was like the big opening with the Rookies World Championship, and of course tonight's the STIHL TimberSports World Trophy. Make sure to join us from 6 p.m. But a few other events coming up, and I think we've got the schedule that we can show you so you don't miss out. So, I mean, look at that.
I mean, this has been busy all season long to get to this point, just to open up our Rookie World Championship and the World Trophy. Coming up in June, we've got the British Championships in Malvern, Great Britain. That is such a fun time up there. Then, of course, the U.S. Championships in Milwaukee, USA. The French pros in, you say that name because I can't, I'm going to butcher it.
Saint-Gaudens in France.
Saint-Gaudens. Then in September, we've got the European Trophy from Bellezona, Switzerland. In November, the Team World Championship in Toulouse, and of course, the Individual World Championship in Toulouse. Always fantastic locations for each of these events. Last year, the World Championship happened at the home of STIHL in Stuttgart, and this year we're jumping over to France. So it's going to be a fantastic season.
Talking about fantastic, our next discipline, the springboard. If you want to know more about that, of course, we've got that coming up as well, so enjoy.
Springboard simulates the traditional way of felling trees by climbing up over thick branches. First, a notch, known as a pocket, is chopped into the log. The springboard is then anchored into this pocket. Now the athlete will climb up onto the springboard to chop a 27-centimeter wooden block from both sides at the top of the log.
All right.
Here we go with the final heats of the STIHL Timbersports Rookie World Championship 2024. Jack Morris taking on Cleveland Cherry. In heat number 2, we're going to see Matthew Budd compete against Camille van Remdonk. And finally, in heat number 3, it's going to be Ivan Bambushka against Matt Coffey. Your favorites?
Okay, I was just going to say 3 guys to keep an eye on here. Definitely Camille van Remdonk, definitely Jack Morris, and most definitely Cleveland Cherry. So the 3 guys that you see on the top of the start list here. It's a tough one to call because it's such a finicky discipline. You've got to set that board in place. If the board's sagging and you don't feel comfortable on it, you're going to be up forward on the board and you're going to be hammering away at the thing like this. It doesn't give you any power. If you're in the back, then you can really push off of that back, right? I'm knocking our studio down here. You can really push off of that back foot and put power into the hit and work that top block. Luckily, these guys have only one board, so there's no risk of them falling down from on high like the pros do at 2 meters in height with those sharp tools in their hands. But it's still dangerous. These guys have to set those boards. They have to set them properly. They need to be certified as well. These rookies need to be certified in this discipline before they can actually participate in this discipline. And that is a result of these guys training with all of our experts and pros and our judges and making sure that they have everything they need to be able to put this discipline to bed without too much risk. There's always going to be risk. That's the way it is in this sport. But
that's the original extreme sport.
It's trying to minimize the risk as much as possible. But these guys are really on point. And this is one of the most difficult disciplines to master because it takes so long to set that pocket sometimes, and that's where it kills your time. But we'll see how these guys do. I'm really looking forward to this discipline with these rookies.
And of course, it is the decider to find out who's going to be the STIHL Timbersports Rookie World Champion 2024. There we see the wonderful trophy that awaits the winner of today. And yeah, I know everybody on stage is getting prepared to make sure that everything is going to work perfectly and is fair for all our competitors. 3 more heats, and that's it. And then we'll know
3 more heats, and that's
who's going to take home the trophy.
The guys are going to need to build a new fireplace mantle for these trophies. They're getting bigger and bigger every year. I mean, the amount of effort that goes into building these trophies is almost as much as the guys that build the stages here. It's crazy.
They're very special every time.
They're beautiful trophies. They're individual every single time per event. So whoever builds these trophies, big kudos and shouts out to them because they do a fantastic job.
And I think we just saw the hashtag STIHL Timbersports, or hashtag Kiss My Axe.
Love that hashtag. It's my favorite one, Kiss My Axe.
Always happy to see your pictures, your videos of the events, yeah, and to share with the rest of the community. And that is a big and wonderful community. And 2 of these members are going to go into heat number 1 now. Jack Morris taking on Cleveland Cherry in our heat number 1 in the springboards competition.
So you can see when they set up these boards, when we go to the shot of our stage, there is the board that's specially shaped, and then the tooth at the end of the board with that metal tab that holds on to the wood. So they have to set that pocket really well so that tab will lock into place. If there's any junk inside the pocket, if there's any slough or leftover material that's loose from the chop, then that will cause the board to sag and slip and not bite the way it should.
And we don't want that. We do not want that, no.
So the perfect pocket is going to be 4 hits, board in, and get working on that top block. And again, they got to cut through that 27-centimeter block from both sides. And what you'll see here that's different than the standing block chop is they'll go very, very, very deep on the first side and then switch to an odd angle on the back side and cut through with maybe 1 or 2 hits if they're lucky.
Gentlemen,
here we go.
Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, Jack Morris has got a 4-hit pocket there. Cleveland Cherry working to try and get that pocket clean. He's at 8 hits now, and Jack Morris has got a real nice board. Now, it's flat. Cleveland Cherry's board has got a bit more angle, so he can take that back foot and step out to the back of the board, which is very good. Jack Morris has got the advantage of having started a little bit earlier, but Cleveland Cherry's got, I think, the better position on the board so he can drive more power into that top block. So it could be a very close decision here between these two, who is going to have the faster time. Cleveland is switching off to that odd angle now. You can see that he's hammering away on that backside. Jack Morris trying to get to that second side, now just moving over to the second side.
There we go.
Cleveland Cherry drops it in a personal best, 47.54, under a minute for Cleveland Cherry. Jack Morris, who is definitely more solid on this discipline than what he's showing here today. He got a lot of steps in that block.
Stays under a minute.
Yeah, but he's got it at 59.39, so that's a personal best for him as well. Great job by both of these guys, and I know that both of them have been working really hard on this discipline, especially Jack, because he knows that this is going to be a discipline that has to come naturally to him later on.
31 seconds improvement for Jack Morris. That is ridiculous. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, massive improvement. Love to see that stuff. It's great. So the times are being made official now, 58.85 for Jack, and Cleveland's got a 47.49. So Jack had the good pocket. He really got it in there quick. It was a 4-hit pocket, so it doesn't get much better than that. But he did have a bit of a sag on his board. It wasn't bad. It was like flat. Flat is good. A small angle is a little bit better because you can step out and can really use the spring in the name springboard to work that upper block and really cut properly. So you can see here that last driver from Cleveland Cherry. You got to be real careful in this discipline too that you don't wrench the block off. So sometimes you'll see if a flag goes down on the play, more often than not, especially when they're at the top there, it's because the axe is hit and they've twisted the axe and not cut through, but they've broken it off. So that's going to be a DQ if they are called for wrenching. You can see here, I believe that's Cleveland Cherry side. Now you can see it was a nice position by Jack there, and he got, it was 90 degrees, I would say, flat, not bad. Cleveland's board was just a little bit more angle, but there you can see it was a very steppy cut on that first side. And obviously Jack didn't feel really confident on the board because he's forward on the board, and that's where you get to lose a lot of that power because you're chopping from your chest and your waist, and you're not chopping from the hips and your legs. And that's tiring too. You can see he's breathing heavy. You know, he's a fit kid, but he's breathing heavy after that.
I mean,
discipline.
look at his biceps. This kid, this man is really fit, but this is so tiring.
But you also have to think about, look at Camille van Remdonk. He is a very slender guy, but he's got power for days. And the difference between guys that have huge muscles and a lot of power is your body needs to feed those muscles with oxygen, and the heavier you are and the more muscle you have, the more drama your body has in feeding that oxygen, right? So if you're fit and you're thin and your cardio is good and you've got wiry, long but strong muscles, you're going to be at an advantage to a guy who's a beast with a lot of power, but not a lot of endurance.
And look at the amount of people working on that stage, making sure that all our competitors get a perfect environment for their competition. That's
well, they've got about as important a job as it gets out there, because any kind of slough or sawdust or wood chips that lie around on the stage can cause a real safety issue for the athletes. So they're akin to the medical crew here for the stage. You know, they keep that stage healthy so our athletes can stay safe up there, because you know, if you're moving around the standing block chop and you slip on a piece of wood and fall down with a razor sharp axe in your hand, you got a bit of a problem, right?
Yes, you do. So you can hear the crowd getting loud again. It's heat number 2, Matthew Budd versus Camille van Remdonk, and the Canadian fans are really loud now.
Yeah. So definite advantage here by tail of the tape goes to Camille van Remdonk. He's got 36 and change, national record. The kid is absolutely unbelievable in this discipline. You wouldn't expect a guy who's brand new on this discipline to be this good right away, but he is focused, he is motivated, and he is very, very good. Personal best time for Matthew Budd, 106.02. Looking to see that improve here today. And you know he's been working on this with the anticipation of the single board, single buck being in the competition.
This is the moment where the athletes can feel the pressure. STIHL Timbersports Rookie World Championship 2024.
There you can see our cameramen on stage.
Okay,
sure that they got all the good views. There's Puma with that angle on Matthew Budd's side.
3, 2, 1, go!
Wow, Camille van Remdonk, he had a whole bunch of hits there, cleaned that pocket, quick got up on his board. He is feeling confident and good. He's up top and already working. Wow, Matthew Budd wanted to do some house cleaning, had to reset that pocket. He didn't feel confident with the way the board went in, and now he's going to get that board in place, but it's sagging badly. He needs to get to work up there.
Van Remdonk is going wild.
And that is a massive sag for Matthew Budd. Van Remdonk, meanwhile, is getting close to getting through that block on the second side. Might have gotten to start chopping on the awkward angle a little bit sooner than later, and he's got it done in 39.71. Not his personal best, but not that far off the mark either. Matthew Budd, however, has got a lot of problems there because he needs to get that board back in place. He recut the pocket. Now that pocket looks much better, but he is going to be way, way, way past the time, and he risks now going over time and getting disqualified here. And you can see he's in really close to the block, so he's depending a lot on his upper body to make the cuts. And the tiredness that he's got, that fatigue from working to try and get that block in place, you can see how far forward he is on that board. He just doesn't have the power. The Canadian team just below us here providing a lot of support, but he's got to get this done in under 2 minutes. Otherwise, that's going to be a DQ for a timeout.
Oh, he will, he will.
I think it's 2 minutes for the rookies. Yeah. So he's fighting it hard, and he's done it. He's got one little piece he's got to get done there. I think it's going to go to like 139 after adjustment, but 138.45 is unofficial at the moment. 39.71 for Camille van Remdonk. What a jump up in the rankings for him there. And that could mean good things for him with 56 points, but Ivan Bambushkar and Matt Coffey are still to come. This is going to be a very, very hard battle for those two guys, with Camille having such a fantastic springboard. And this is a tactic here as well. Camille knows that he's good in all the other disciplines, but he knows he's fantastic in springboard.
Okay, congratulations.
He just needed to get here, and he has really thrown down the gauntlet, and he is looking relieved there.
And he's enjoying that. Love that.
Right now, there's nothing else that he can really do except hope that Matt Coffey doesn't get
7
any
points
more
yes.
than 6 points or 7 points, yeah? But I mean, at this point, it's moot unless Matt Coffey, yeah, Matt Coffey gets a DQ. Yeah, let's just watch this replay here as these guys get ready to go. So look how quickly Camille van Remdonk hits here.
And that is not a perfect pocket. It's a good pocket, but it's not perfect.
7, he's got 7 hits. He does a quick sweep with his hand, and then he puts the board in place, yeah? You can see there in Matthew Budd's, he's got a bit of junk in there. He's got a bit of an angle too that just doesn't allow that tooth to hook up. Meanwhile, Van Remdonk doesn't hold back at all. Look, that back foot sets it all the way back there almost and starts working on the top block. And again, you know, you can see he goes back to that little tab at the back of the board there and really is able to use that back leg and twist his hips into those blows. You can see the board there for Matthew Budd just sagging a little bit, so he's got to move forward on it so that he doesn't apply too much pressure and have that thing peel out, which it did, because he just didn't have a solid pocket. So this was a hard battle for Matthew Budd, and he had to really work through to mostly against himself in this one, less against Camille van Remdonk here. But this is all about learning experience and gaining experience for these guys, and making sure that you know, you learn from the mistakes that you made on these various disciplines.
Oh wow.
And I mean, quite frankly, getting that done in 2 minutes for Matthew Budd, it was a really good job, because he had to go back and set that pocket not once but 3 times in order to get the board comfortable enough so that he can get up there and do what he needs to do.
Absolutely. Look at the support from Camille. That's a really nice community that these youngsters have.
Absolutely.
Very competitive, but in the best way possible.
And you could see Matthew is just absolutely gutted here from fatigue, because there was just so much going on there for him. And like I said, this is a very, very finicky discipline, and you have to be on point with this one. You know, you just can't make any mistakes, because mistakes can be dangerous and they can cost you time and energy. Good run though from Camille van Remdonk, so great job by him. And at the moment he is in the lead of a Springboard by a bullet.
And of course in the overall ranking, because Ivan Bambushka and Matt Coffey have not yet received the points here in the Springboard, it is the final heat. It is actually the decider of the STIHL Timbersports Rookie World Championship 2024.
So currently Matt Coffey has 49 points, so he needs to have 7 points in order to take the World Championship here. Ivan Bambushkar, be a tough one. He'd have to have the fastest run of the day, 18 points, and I still don't think that would get him up into the 3rd position there. Maybe, yeah, maybe 2nd position.
But if he gets 18 points, he would be up with the 56.
Yeah, but then, you know,
together
Matt
with
Coffey's
Camille
points.
Fernandez, yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. Again, math guys in the house.
And Camille, of course, was very fast on that one. Do you think he feels the pressure, Matt Coffey? Because he always seems to be so calm,
He seems
so
so
focused.
calm. It's hard to tell. Yeah? It's hard to tell. He seems confident.
Okay, gentlemen. Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
6 hits for Matt Coffey. Board's in place. Oh, that's a beautiful board. He is looking very good. Bambushkar still working on house cleaning for his block, and he is now setting his board. Does he have a good angle? He just doesn't have enough material out of there to get that board in place and lock it in, so he's going to have to get in and reset. Meanwhile, Matt Coffey is setting a blistering pace, just getting towards the 30-second mark here, as he is going to switch to the backside now. Just passing the 30-second mark as he switches to that awkward angle on the backside. We might have a fast time here. Yes, we do. 38-38 for Matt Coffey, personal best, and that takes over the top spot. And if I'm not mistaken, that means Matt Coffey will be your new world champion, but don't count me on that one, because I've been slapped in the face before with those kinds of predictions.
What a way to finish the day, huh?
Still trying to get that house cleaning done as he gets to the minute mark, so he's got 1 minute left to get that board in place and cut through that top block. And again, it's so difficult. The killer for a lot of these guys is getting that pocket set, you know? The confidence on that board needs to be there in order to do this exactly right here. So Bambushkar's got a good flat board. It locked in place when he added the weight to it, the tooth hooked in, so he's got a good board. He can step back on that board, but he gotta feel confident about it as we just get to the 1 minute 30-second mark here, and he really wants to get it done in under 2 minutes so he can avoid that DQ and at least get the points. He's switching over to the other side. A huge slab came off. So he's got a little bit to get through, and he's done it in 1:41.86. Good job, well done by Ivan Bambushkar. Slowest time of the day, but he'll take that after struggling to get those pockets placed properly.
And full credit to Matt Coffey. He kept his calm. He won the last discipline, not being the favorite on that one. And with a total of 67 points, if our maths is right, he will take victory here at the STIHL Timbersports Rookie World Championship. Of course, we have to wait for the official results, but well done.
I was going to say who knew, but I bet you I know who knew, the Australian team, right?
Both cuts are good.
All right, so it is official.
Impressive.
Both cuts are good. Matt Coffey with another personal best out the window here in the springboard. This is a young man that is going to be a very, very, very interesting guy to keep an eye on. He's strong, he's fit, he's not a huge guy, but I tell you what, he is absolutely fantastic.
And he's a great competitor.
So I believe it was 6 hits. Yeah, that was 6 hits for Matt Coffey to set his pocket. Gets that board in place. Now look at the angle on the board here. He's got the upward angle, and then he's got a little bit of a twisted angle on the toe side, so that he can really work into it. Now here, Ivan Bambushkar trying to find the space in there, but he just didn't cut out enough material. There was too much slough still in that block. And meanwhile, Matt Coffey was just going to town on that top block. And I got the impression that Matt Coffey didn't worry about what anybody else was doing out there. He was focused on the job that he had to do at hand, and he absolutely did what he needed to do in order to get that win. I'm totally with you.
It seemed very much like that. And he's self-confident. He knows what he's capable of, and he really delivered today. That is more than impressive.
Yeah, and you could see right there from Ivan Bambushkar what happens if that tooth doesn't hook into place, if there's too much loose material in that pocket. The board will just start to sag and release from locking in place. It will not hold on. So that was the problem. I mean, put it this way, if Ivan Bambushkar had managed to get a pocket in the same or roughly the same time as Matt Coffey, his time would have been significantly less, because when he actually started cutting that top block, he was quick through.
So there's the final standing here in the springboard discipline. As just mentioned, Coffey taking that one with 18 points, Van Remdonk getting 50 points, and Cherry claiming 12, Morris 9, but 6, and Bambushka 3 points, which brings us to an overall ranking that has Matt Coffey right on top. He is the new STIHL Timbersports Rookie World Champion 2024. So it's Coffey in gold, Van Remdonk claiming silver, and Cherry taking home bronze. And of course, we want to hear what Matt Coffey, the new Rookie World Champion, has to say. And if I am not mistaken, he's standing right next to Carlo. Carlo, let's hear it from the new Rookie World Champion.
Yes, hello, here we are live on stage with the new Rookie World Champion Matt Coffey from Australia, 22 years young. What an emotion, what a finish, what are the feelings that are coming up now for you?
Just a lot of feelings, a lot of happiness and joy, just a lot of hard work gone into this, and yeah, it's all come together.
E dice che è felicissimo, tanta gioia, tante emozioni che sta provando adesso per la vincita di questo trofeo. When did you just feel it could be your day today?
Felt good from the start after the underhand, and then yeah, just all sort of fell together after that.
Dice che dopo l'underhead diceva che me la sentivo nelle gambe che oggi sarebbe andata, avrebbe potuto finire così la gara, e poi alla fine ce l'ho fatta. This last performance, you came up last and it was on the verge winning or not. Did you just keep a clear mind, or did you just tremble a little bit?
Oh, just think about the event that's going on, and yeah, just worry about the board hole, and then once you're up on top, you worry about it then.
Ok, ha detto all in anche per quest'ultima disciplina springboard, e quindi è andata bene, sono contento. Congratulations to Matt Coffey, Australia, the new world champion, STIHL Timbersports 2024. Back to the studio.
Thank you, Carlo. What a cool dude. For the first time I've seen him smile, you know.
Yeah, he let the emotions out. Ever so tiny amount there at the end, but
yeah, it was nice to see.
It was nice, you know. It's a little bit of a laid-back dude.
Not only a nice man, yeah. He's a laid-back, really cool dude and a worthy champion. Congrats from our side. That was absolutely amazing. Great performance. What a winner.
Yeah, he kept it consistent all day long. Little hiccup here, little hiccup there, but that's rookies, you know. They learn as they go, and we're going to see a lot of fantastic pros coming up in the next years when these guys start to develop into the next level of play. And what we saw there on that springboard from Matt is a sign that a lot of the guys that are doing springboard now in the double board are going to be really shaking in their boots, because that was impressive.
So some of the pros watching, I'm sure they have exactly that feeling that you were just talking about. And of course, we can't wait for the winner's ceremony that is coming up in just a few moments. So it's back down to Carlo, and yeah, let's do this.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we just want to thank to all of the finishers, all participants of this Rookie World Championship 2024 in Milan. And thank you to Espen Pedersen, Gavin Brumbo, Nikolai Grönwald, Nicola Trecarichi. Vi voglio sentire Tim Anthoff, Sean Osh, Jack Morris, Ivan Bambuskar, and Matthew Butt. Grazie tante. Thank you so much for participating and making this event such a heart-beating event. And now, ladies and gentlemen, adesso, signore e signore, we had a fantastic competition, and we welcome you in Milan at the Convention Center Miko for the prize-giving ceremony. Allora è il momento topico finale della premiazione dei STIHL TIMBERSPORTS Rookie Campionati del Mondo World Championship 2024. Let's start with the official award ceremony. On third place, terza posizione, winner of the bronze medal, medaglia di bronzo, representing New Zealand per la Nuova Zelanda, Cleveland Cherry. The medal is presented by Giulio Franceschi, premia Giulio Franceschi, Marketing Manager STIHL Italia, Marketing Manager STIHL Italy. Congratulations, congratulazioni. And now, ladies and gentlemen, second place in seconda posizione and winner of the silver medal, vincitore della medaglia d'argento, representing Belgium, per il Belgio, Camille van Rendonk. All right, congratulazioni. The medal is presented by Giulio Franceschi, premia il signor Giulio Franceschi, Marketing Manager STIHL Italia.
Really deserved. Thank you. Great.
Congratulazioni ancora. And now, ladies and gentlemen, attention, first place, primo posto, and winner of the gold medal of the STIHL TIMBERSPORTS Rookie World Champion 2024 e vincitore della medaglia d'oro Timbersport Rookie World Champion 2024, representing Australia per l'Australia, Coffee. All right. The medal is presented by Mr. Giulio Franceschi, premia il signor Giulio Franceschi, Marketing Manager STIHL Italia. Congratulazioni. Attenzione. And now, ladies and gentlemen, signore e signori, il straordinario trofeo, the extraordinary trophy for the winner of the Rookie Timber Sports World Championship 2024, Matt Coffey. This is a trophy presented by Massimo Gallo, General Manager Steel Italy. Premia il signor Massimo Gallo, General Manager Steel Italia. All right, congratulazioni, big hands. E adesso, e ora, ladies and gentlemen, in honor of the winner, and now we hear the national anthem of Australia. In onore del vincitore, ascoltiamo l'inno nazionale dell'Australia. Thank you so much, congratulazioni ancora al campione rookie STIHL Timbersport 2024, l'australiano Matt Coffey. Godiamoci le immagini, enjoy the images. You're live in Milano. Back to the studio. Passo la linea allo studio.
Now that was very emotional and beautiful to see. He really enjoyed that. How about that? The
I love
Iceman.
to see the guys were singing the national anthem as well. I mean, that's fantastic. You know, when you see it at a hockey game or you see it at a football game or something, and the audience and the people get into the spirit of it and sing the national anthem. Matt Coffey on the top spot of the podium there, singing the national anthem of Australia. So that was really nice to see. I like that, and he can be absolutely proud of how he performed today. I mean, he cut, sawed, and chopped his way to that top spot on the podium.
Well-deserved winner.
Well-deserved winner, absolutely.
And that's not all for today. If you take a closer look at your watch, it's 4:45, and at 6 p.m. we have something very special for you.
Yaman, the trophy format coming up.
Baroni.
The World Trophy is next this evening. It is a banger. Don't miss that because it's going to be a lot of fun.
This is what you can expect.
Yes.
The Italian tunes in the background. The Champions League of wood chopping is awaiting you in just over 1 hour.
Yep, hour and 15 minutes. Don't miss it because it's going to be epic. And the level has gone up again, if that's even possible. Jack is back.
Oh, yeah.
Will he defend for a third time and take the hat trick? We'll see. He's got a lot of guys knocking on his back door to try and get that top spot.
Can't wait. And for now, it's goodbye with the highlights of the rookies.
Ciao, everyone.